Is Dabo correct to say that Florida State used the COVID as an excuse to cancel the game? Probably. Let's be honest. I'm sure there was a section of the Florida State administration, even though it was the medical staff that made the final decision, I'm sure there was some push from the administration to say, by any means necessary, cancel this game. Because we were going to get murdered. We were going to get dog stomped, and that's fine. And so I will agree with Dabo on this point. Here would be my point to Dabo. If you don't want us to use that as an excuse, don't have a player who was exhibiting symptoms as far back as Sunday, and yes, he had 3 negative tests before testing positive. This wasn't Travis Etienne. This wasn't Trevor Lawrence. This wasn't any of their starters. This was a backup freshman offensive lineman. You're really willing to sacrifice the game over a backup freshman offensive lineman? Really, Dabo? Are you that stupid? I mean, I get it. That's Dabo, and we've talked about this before. Dabo has no class. He's exhibited no class before in his time at Clemson and in the past few years against playing Florida State. But this takes it to a different level. And the constant attacks. First of all, if we were backing out of the game, how come Mike Norvell in his statement said we look forward to playing them again? We look forward to playing them in December. He's acknowledged we want to play this game. And I will give Mike Norvell credit. I have attacked him as a coach. I still don't think he's a great coach so far this season, but I will give him a credit as a man. He stood up there for his players' best interest health-wise. And he took a little bit of a comment when he said we're football coaches, we're not doctors, but that's a fact. I don't believe Dabo has a medical degree. I don't believe Mike Norvell has a medical degree. They defaulted to the medical personnel. They're the ones who made the decision. Dabo wants to make it personal. Dabo wants to deflect blame instead of actually owning up to the fact that he screwed up in bringing the player down. He screwed up in acting like Clemson's above COVID. Then this is what happens. The game gets canceled. Hopefully it gets scheduled on December 12th. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination Florida State has any shot of beating Clemson if they play. I'm not that delusional towards my alma mater. But it needs to be in the best interest of both programs, the health of both programs, the health of the players. It was not in the best interest to play this game. It got canceled. If the crybaby from Clemson can't handle that, tough.
Let me ask you this question. Try to take off your garnet and gold.
I'm not wearing anything underneath, so that could be a problem.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay,
let's pretend that you're going to take off your garnet and gold. Strip away your alma mater status. Okay. If this were a reversal of decisions made, how would you feel about your coach at Florida State being a 35-point favorite? Just reverse the situation. How would you support or not support their stance?
Would 100%. If Florida State was 7-1, ranked number 4 nationally, a 35-point favorite going into Memorial Stadium.
You remember those days.
I know. Those were good old days back in 2013, 2012, and 2014. Man, those were the days. If we had come back like that and Clemson was a 2-6 team dealing with all their issues and whatnot, absolutely, because this is a different animal. This is not a normal season. We've talked about this before about all the games being canceled, all the games being moved, games being played on Sundays, games being played in December now. This is a different animal, and everyone needs to be prepared for it. And this is the first time Clemson and Florida State have been in this position where they've had to have a game postponed. If it's for that, if Florida State brought a backup offensive lineman and Clemson said, no, we don't feel safe, yes, the graduate in me, the Florida State fan in me would probably be like, come on. But you have to understand why. You have to understand the reason why. And if that's the reason why, then I would fully support it 100%.
So you made another statement in there, and I know that you were taking it to the nth degree when you said Dabo Swinney has never exhibited any class. Have there been other times in which Dabo Swinney has not shown himself to be on a higher plane?
When I was writing for Chop Chat last year, I got death threats from Clemson fans because I wrote a column criticizing Dabo for still trying to score touchdowns when they were up, I believe it was 42-14, late in the fourth quarter, 45-14. Excuse me, it was 45-14 late in the fourth quarter, and he was still trying to score touchdowns. And I get it. It's the old school Jimmy Johnson at the University of Miami philosophy. If you don't want us to score, stop us. I fully get that. There is a level of class involved. And Dabo has tried to act like Dabo thinks Clemson is Alabama, that Clemson is Notre Dame, that it's Ohio State, that it's even Florida State during the 14-season dynasty era of the late 80s and the 90s. Clemson is having a great run right now. They are on a great 6-year run right now. They've had a great 5 years from 2015 to 2019, 2 national titles, 2 other national title game appearances. Great run. Before that, from 1992 to 2014, the 23 seasons Florida State was in the ACC, they won the ACC title 1 time. Un ACC titles in the same time that Florida State has been in their conference. They are they have the national title in 81, but essentially they are not a household name. And that's why they wanted this game. Let's be honest. They wanted to play Florida State because we're still a name. We're 2-6. We're having a horrible season. Worst season since the mid-1970s. But we are still a name brand. This was going to be a nationally televised game. Clemson was going to dog stomp us on national TV. And coming off the Notre Dame loss, this was going to be the win that would show the voters, show the playoff voters, hey, Clemson's still around. Clemson deserves to still be one of the top 4 teams in the country. That's why he wanted this. That's why Clemson wanted this, and they wanted this blowout win over Florida State. You cannot risk the health and safety of players, though. And we've talked about it before. We've debated back and forth about COVID, about masks. We've debated back and forth. The bottom line is if you don't want the game to be canceled, don't give Florida State that opportunity to cancel the game. Don't give Florida State the opportunity to, and we'll say it, to use the excuse, we've got a player on the other team who has tested positive, who flew on an airplane while positive. He got the result when he was in Tallahassee, but he took the test before they left Clemson. That positive test, flew on a plane, was around other players in the plane, in the hotel, got the positive test, and then was sent back to Clemson. So he was around, could have infected other players, could have not infected one single person, but could have infected players. We don't know. That's the problem with this situation right now, is that we're in a situation where we don't know. And the fact is that Dabo has made a big deal about not wanting to side on the side of safety with this. You've got Trevor Lawrence on the sideline at Notre Dame, who had just come off, had missed 2 games because of the positive test, is on the sideline talking without mask on, without anything, to other players. Was it a violation of protocol? No. Was it the smartest thing to do? No. And that's the problem, is that Dabo doesn't want to do the smart thing. He's a football coach. He's just trying to win football games. If you want to respect him as a football coach, great. As a person, he has not earned any respect at all, at least from this guy.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with all of what you just stated regarding his care and safety for the players. The effectiveness of masks has been debated. There's been research done that has determined arguments can be made on both sides.
Let me ask you a question. When you go out, sorry for interrupting. When you go out, do you wear a mask?
When I walk in a facility, when I walk in a store, when I walk in an establishment, yes, I wear a mask.
May I ask why? Is it a law in Connecticut? Because in Florida, it's not a law down here. But I still do every single time. And luckily here in Broward County and Miami-Dade, everyone is still wearing masks.
I do out of respect for other people and out of respect for what has been understood as the safest route for everyone to take at this time, even though I think it's largely overstated. But I want to care for the people around me. And
that's my point, is that even if Dabo doesn't agrees with you, he doesn't think that masks are the smartest thing, that Trevor Lawrence not being in South Bend might have not been the smartest thing. This is a point where you have to err on the side of caution, err on the side of common sense.
But at this point, he's just making himself look like a fool. The national media is actually, for once, and it took all of it. I mean, he's doing it to himself, but the national media is finally going out there and being public about it and calling him out for the silly things that he's doing. We thought, okay, one day, all right, you get one day to kind of ramble off about it and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Another day. Okay. Oh, Lordy day. 3 days now. Oh my God. It just is embarrassing to him. He's going against what his admin has said and what Florida State and the admin agreed there with Clemson. And it's just making him look silly. But, then again, he's a guy that is taking his team to playoffs and is winning national championships. So it just is what it is. He also had a controversial offseason where he wore a shirt that said football matters during a huge social injustice movement that was going on in our country. He just doesn't really understand a lot of things. A lot of people at my work today said that maybe he's got he's a little bit not the sharpest tool in the shed, and it's just he just kind of doesn't understand a lot of things. But he's definitely making himself look really silly. Like I said, I won the Florida State admin to kind of step up and say something early on, but they allowed Mike Norvell to do it, and they're allowing Mike Norvell to do so, and he's just doing the PR while Dabo just continues to run his mouth, and that's just something. We knew it, though. I said, just get ready for Dabo Swinney to have a hissy fit, and he's doing it, and the national media is laughing at it, and it's hilarious.
I'll just stick up for Dabo here on a few fronts because I've attacked him on other fronts, and a lot of Clemson fans don't like me now because I've gone after him on other occasions. But again, I don't want to restate he has a claim in all of this, and Florida State has a claim. Florida State pulled the trump card that any school can back out of any game. He was going by the ACC guidelines, which were met to play football. So I have no issue with him being upset about that and traveling down to the game. I also don't have issue with a lot of things like Logan brought up. The shirt that he wore, I think that's idiotic, that people were upset about that. He wore a shirt that was like 5 years old that had nothing to do with the issue at hand. He wore a shirt that was manufactured at a time in which that phrase meant nothing to anyone, and he just happened to have it on in the football facility. So I thought that got completely overblown by a bunch of snowflakes on social media who have nothing better to do than to be offended by everything in the world. That's one of our issues in this country right now. Offended by every freaking thing, and it's pathetic. People are pathetic.
Here's the Mark Rogers why political correctness is a bad thing. Blah blah. On that,
a lot of it is. A lot of it's a horrible thing, horrendous thing.
I can say whatever. Blah blah. The bottom line.
I didn't say anybody could say whatever. I said you could wear a T-shirt.
Right, but common sense, Mark.
That shouldn't offend anyone. I can be offended by all sorts of things. I could start a list, but do I get on here and go crazy about what I'm offended by?
No, you just
because I'm actually a man with some skin that's thicker than a half inch, and I can actually take it and live my life.
You're a man. You're 40. No, what you do is you just send me private messages on Twitter complaining about things. That's what you do.
Well, do you want me to air it in public? That's what the morons that do it today, they go out and they complain about Drew Brees, even though he's supposed to be their brother, supposed to be their football brother. Well, I don't throw my brother out on social media under the bus because, again, I'm a respectful man who deals man to man with issues. I don't have to throw it out for millions to see.
So I can't eat on the show because it's disrespectful, but Logan can drink beer. Got it. Okay, good. Got
it. You're taking that to a strange area that has nothing to do with anything relevant. People are complaining about people eating on the show. I ate a couple times on the show. I will no longer eat on the show. It's my show. I'll do whatever in the hell I want and put whatever rules I want on it. And so we won't eat on the show. And if you're ready to eat on the show, then you'll sit out until you're done eating. Then you'll come on the show. Is that a right or a wrong? No, it's not. If people want to eat on a show, I could care less. That's not a right or wrong or a big deal. I just happen to make it a rule because there's like 50 people complaining.
Good. Let people complain. Let people complain.
I will let some people complain about certain things, but if enough people complain about certain things that I can agree, okay, yeah, that looks unprofessional, we'll not do that.
You're gonna get redneck trash from Clemson here complaining about how dare I say anything about Dabo.
I
Yeah.
get people complain about stuff that I say every day. I
Dabo's-
get criticism that most of it's unfair every day.